Howdy Neighbors, and welcome back to Crimson Gray. Last time, shit hit the fan. So here we go. My cat is currently yelling, and she is also not a fan of this. In fact, he had to wonder if anything Miss Smith was saying wasn't just a backup plan. It might— oh my god. Stop it. She's mad at me because I'm washing bedding right now. She likes to hide underneath it. Might be no accident that Lizzie was missing. Maybe they were looking for her. But ultimately he didn't have enough information. He didn't see any— and he didn't see any ways of getting to the point where he needed to reach with so many security forces. Smith HQ hasn't responded. Damn it, we'll just pursue the plan then. No, it's not that. It seems we have lost our connection. In that case, it is completely under my authority. But we're counting on you to end this without anyone else getting hurt. I hope I could do that. You can, I'm sure of that. And should I? He wasn't sure exactly what approach he was going to take, but then abruptly it didn't matter. Lizzie was in the warehouse. She was winking at him. A second later, one of the soldiers fell with a gurgling cry. Everyone's eyes were drawn to him, and the knife in his eye, except for John, who looked in the other direction. Standing up behind another of the soldiers, Lizzie drew her axe across his throat. Damn it, take her down. We need her alive. Fortunately for the soldiers, Lizzie was under no such restrictions. She was enormously outnumbered, but she swept through the group, axe flashing brutally. They began using rubber bullets on her, and though some hit each other, a few managed to strike her. She slowed, faltered, and eventually they tackled her to the ground. Stop yelling. You know what? No, here we go. Read that. Excuse me. Read that. You're doing wonderfully. We appreciate your efforts. She said his name only— this cat decided to bite me, so she's out. His name only once while they wrestled her into a chair beside him, but it broke his heart. He wished he could do something, but he was helpless against trained soldiers. They had been cleverly concealed, but John realized that the chair's sturdy straps designed to bind someone completely to the place as they pinned Lizzie to a chair. He realized that they were coming for him next. The next second of panic, raising his hands. No, please, I'll cooperate. Please don't hurt me. It's harmless. Just stay there and shut up, John. Mrs. Smith walked to stand in front of Lizzie, staring down at her while like she was a repulsive insect. By my way, we'd have exterminated you already, but the board is apparently interested in what we might learn from you. Given your performance just now, it seems they were right. Dots. What are you gonna do to her? Is this some kind of super soldier program? To my surprise, Miss Smith laughed, loudly and apparently authentically. Don't be absurd, boy. Even if it wasn't ridiculous, do you have any idea how destabilizing it would be? As she spoke, she put on a new pair of surgical gloves and opened a second metal case filled with clear syringes. Miss Smith glanced at one calmly, spitting a little bit of liquid out of the end. In any case, it appears this girl's condition was a freak accident, a combination of genetics and chance that is not likely to be repeated. The girl displayed very different characteristics after all. No, Protect is interested in safe, stable projects, which we may be able to extract from this world if we can just figure out all the details of the case. Please, cooperate, who won't? Are you going to cooperate, Lizzie? Dots. What I was afraid of. Let's see if this will change your mind. Miss Smith jabbed a needle into Lizzie's arm. She hissed to try to break her bonds, but they stayed firm. Now, are you feeling more cooperative? Lizzie shot her a look of pure malice. Smith waited a while and frowned. Ineffective, I fear. Well, that's why you brought in alternatives. Hold him. Too late, John realized they were referring to him. Some of the remaining soldiers held him in place, while Miss Smith approached and injected him with a second syringe. Instantly, his head was filled with a pitch-black fog. With it came pain and lethargy, rendering him nearly comatose in his chair. He turned everything he had to focus to the fog. Stop it. You see, fixation on the boy is part of his sanity. I told you he would use him. Is she going to cooperate? Well, girl, will you? Thoughts. I wanted to tell her not to give in, but this jaw didn't work. He wouldn't even twitch when Mrs. Smith was injected for something else. This one took away the pain. His world began swirling violently around him. Black fog and his mind swirled together with the world around him, and he could feel himself being dragged down into an uncomprehending haze. I can't read. Staying focused on reality had become difficult. Ghosts of everyone spiraling out of their bodies. Stop it, you're killing him. No, I have no intention of doing that. This will already be enough of a mess. We can't afford any more legal conflicts. Enough of these. I can make him completely compliant. Yeah. We'll say anything we want him to say. And everything that he is will cease to be. Words sent a wave of cold horror spiraling like a whirlwind around him. It made Lizzie give a sobbing cry. As everything faded away, the last thing he heard was her desperate plea. No, please, no. Before he could hear anything else, John lost the grip of reality. He tumbled down into a maelstream of chemicals and emotions and chaos. He felt forever. And suddenly it all stopped. It was as if he stood in the eye of the hurricane, swirling chaos all around him, but for a moment perfectly still. And in that moment he saw a fever dream of fracturing time. In that moment, he knew that if he gave in, they would die. Because he gave them what they wanted, they would die. Everywhere he turned, death. He knew he was probably hallucinating, but he still searched for a path that didn't end in death, yet he found nothing. His mind grew lighter, and he could feel himself coming out of the stillness, back through the chaos. He knew that unless he used the moment of clarity to do something, he would be lost. But what? There was death on every side, and even outside of his hallucination, what could he possibly do? He was weak, Lizzie was trapped, the enemy was all around them. But one death stood out to him. Not only insane flashes of things he couldn't understand, just of a will of things and death. But unlike all the other points of dancing lights and his vision, that he was sure were hallucinations, comfortable, heavy. It was death, but not death like this. He had no idea what it meant. He knew this was probably all his mind looking for, but he still longed for that final death. He came back to himself, feeling the somehow standing, so close to a dark fog that he could see enough. Everything he had seen once before seemed like madness to him, but abruptly he realized that he needed what he needed to do, that he was taking his life away from the soldiers for the business, like the bird was him, plunging him over his shoulder. He had moved like this, but Smith stayed in the shop. I'm the same. Thoughts. Maybe, and you are. Maybe part of my mistake was thinking you were in the first place. Oh, if there's no safety, that chemical was valuable. So you will regret what you did. Not as much as they're going to regret if no one's with you. The chemical pumped out her body. Lizzie became strangely calm. Her eyes were glassy and empty. That did not mean she was sedated. I still blank. Lizzie calmly poured tore through her restraints and rose to her feet. What? How did she? Nah. Lizzie dissolved into a stream of erratic movements that was faster than the eye could follow. Slowly back at his chair, I could only watch. She smashed one of the soldiers to the ground, and something gave a sickening crack. While the others were still recoiling, Lizzie lunged to the next and tore at his throat with her teeth. They were all panicking, trying to react to her movements even faster than before, but it was too late. Lizzie had picked up her axe. There it is! Watching her, John couldn't help but feel that she was strangely beautiful. Her erratic movements smoothed out, becoming a deadly dance that sent sprays of blood away from her almost elegantly. Through it all, she laughed. And it wasn't a laugh of desperation, a savage joy that he was happy to hear. What had possessed him to inject her with that chemical? Thinking about it, it seemed like an act of madness. On some level, he had been certain that her body hadn't rejected the drug. It had adapted, absorbed it, became stronger. And so the second dose had just multiplied that effect. Soon all the soldiers were dead, and Smith stared in horror. He managed to pull himself back together. That's enough. Do you realize he's seeing all of this? Little fetish is going too. I tumbled off her shoulders. I blinked in surprise and realized Lizzie had literally decapitated the woman with her axe in a single blow. And then Lizzie was still. While slowly dripping down her body, she stood not far away from him. Exhaled loosely, laughter gone, just standing, watching him. He realized that though the chemical had increased her strength, there was no doubt magnified her mental instability as well. He couldn't know what she was thinking, but he could see turmoil in her eyes. All John wanted to do was to lay down and sleep. Maybe let her kill him. It didn't matter. He had pushed himself too far to care. And he saw pain in her eyes, and he remembered how many times he had felt the same way and wished anyone would help him. Somehow, through all the pain and dizziness and greatness consuming him, John stood up. He took several uneven steps toward Lizzie. He wrapped his arms around her and held her close. He was still for a moment, then gripped him back so tightly that it was almost painful, and her eyes were dangerously close to his head. But he didn't let go. John wasn't sure how long they stayed like that. Gradually, he seemed to come back to himself. The chemical mess that he had been injected with fading away, leaving him with nothing but his own depression. That was his, he knew with heavy certainty. There's no conspiracy there, no easy solution. It was something he had to live with. But he wouldn't live through it alone. Lizzie shifted his arms, raising her face up enough to kiss him. Sometime later, they both parted. He felt heavy, but he could move. Something vicious still lurked in Lizzie's eyes. It was the viciousness he had come to love. Okay, John? You asked me that? I'm fine. Whatever they did to me wasn't permanent. What they did to me was I feel. I can't describe it. Do you hate me? You've seen me who I really am now. I'll love you more. I want you to be. John, please let me love you. I love you, Lizzie. I always will. Yes! Thank you so much. I would slaughter every single person in the world just to be with you a second longer. Well, let's hope you can get a better rate than a second for total genocide. Lizzie gave a brief little laugh. She sounded almost normal for a moment. In that single moment, both of them returned to themselves alone. Lizzie was a mess. We'll have to leave. If we stay here too long, they'll find us. Is there any hope? I think they wondered before Ted had noticed. No, they didn't. I just wrote the communication system first. He gave him an odd grin, a mix of nervousness and vicious satisfaction. I wanted to come after you right away, throw myself at them until they were all dead and you were safe, but then I remembered all my time. I want to be with you forever. We have to make that happen. Look how all this. It'll hurt them too. They're already under government scrutiny. sure they never find out, won't we? She smiled, and he smiled back. Lizzie extended her hands so covered in blood. They held hands while they set about cleaning up the bodies. Attractive. Yay! Genocide! Genocide! Hi, Lizzie. Dots. Dots! John, are you still with me? I was just thinking about everything that happened. How we met. Ah, yes, so much emotion. But it was like living in a movie, wasn't it? I've never seen you kill that many people before. Oh, you're thinking about the time you injected me? Oh, it's such romantic. When we first met, you said you found me. Oh, it's that, I found you. If I hadn't, I don't know if I would have survived. I certainly would never have discovered all of this. I'm surrounded by so much beauty, aren't you? Yes, I never imagined that a singular focus could expand so much. But I'm glad we're alone now, John. You made the right choice. My world was so gray, and now there's a blue sky. I'm so glad I found you. Do I need to say it? No, I already know. You can say it one more time if you want to. The true ending. Yay! Blue sky! Choose your title screen. We haven't seen that one in a while. Yay! Yay! Wait, there's still one more, isn't there? Yeah, there's one more issue that we have. So, original. Here we go. And then once this one is done, we are going to be fully done with the game, and that is sad. Oh, what am I doing? Leave a note. Yes. Lizzie. Pharmacist. This one. Dating. Don't be a dick. Just keep talking. Take her hand. And then be yucky. Accept. Decline. Sorry, Lizzie. I don't think I'm feeling like it right now. It's okay. Actually, I think maybe we should wait. Huh? Last time it was too much for me, I think. Can't handle so much emotion at once. And John? I'm glad you felt like you could say no to me. No problem. Since he wasn't sure where to go from there, John just held her a little closer. Lizzie laid her head against his chest and they kissed. Oh, and he kissed the top of it gently. Like a fool. Start a conversation about morality. They fidgeted a bit, then seemed to focus on the words and nodded. Getting a little comfortable for the rest of lunch, but John had hoped if he ever did somehow get strapped to the train tracks, Lizzie was the one nearby. I'm gonna say very, very little about Lizzie. Oh no. She's nice, but she's a very private person. Okay, fair enough. Next John had another session scheduled with his smith. He decided to swing by his locker first. Lizzie plus John forever, 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 forever. To his surprise, he found a note from Lizzie. Their names in a heart with the word forever repeated multiple times all around it. Had she placed it now or earlier that day? It had been a while Theo checks his locker, frowning, John tucked it in his pocket and headed outward. Oh no, oh no. It doesn't say anything. Go straight to Lizzie. There's no sense of dragging this out or being indirect. John left a note in Lizzie's locker asking her to meet him on the roof after school. John, did you need something? I need to be honest with you, Lizzie. Of course, always. You're angry that I have a girl as my lab partner, aren't you? Yes. Do you honestly think I cheat on you with her? No, John would never do that. Then why do you want to hurt her? Dots. It's fine if you can't tell me. But you shouldn't do that, Lizzie. I want you to be focused on me, not other people. I'll ask if I can't switch partners. Maybe this weekend we can go out somewhere, but in return you promise you won't hurt anyone. Okay. In that case, I won't hurt you anymore. I'll ask about changing partners today, I promise. Now, I don't want to keep you from— Wait. I promise too kind, I have to protect you. Dots. No, I would never try it. I know you would never try to hurt me, but this girl, she's evil. She put on a false face and trick you to that you'll be kind, too kind of a sister, and then Lizzie, that's not going to happen. Just be happy to hear you say that. Do you believe me? Or am I going to find out she died of mysterious causes soon? No, I promise I won't hurt her. We still need to be protected. I don't understand how tricky girls can be. But if John doesn't want me to hurt anyone, I'll have to protect you to the best by being the best girlfriend in the world. Settled. And you'll take me out on a date every weekend for the rest of the school year. Ah, well, it's nice we reached an agreement. Let's start right now. Several days passed without incident, then several weeks. Eventually, he began to relax and trust Lizzie wasn't going to harm anyone. He managed to get his lab partner reassigned. It felt incredibly awkward to reject a nice girl like that, but he tried to make an excuse that he couldn't keep up with her, and he thought she chalked it up to depression. Losing a decent lab partner was no big deal. He was happy to do it to keep Lizzie, not to mention possibly avoiding murder, but in the future, he worried it could be a real problem. As time passed with no incidents, he began to think that it was entirely his imagination. So one day at lunch, Dots, something on your mind, Lizzie? Would you still have loved me if I'd killed her? Whoa, that's a heavy question sprung on someone. Honestly, I can't say for certain, since it didn't happen, but I think I'd still love you. You don't hurt people for malicious reasons. In the end, you're doing what you think is necessary for my sake. I love how dedicated you are to things. I can never stick with anything. Okay. Is it okay? You seem upset. Dots. Oh no, there are so many. Okay, what do I do? Fuck. It literally doesn't say anything for this. Make sure she doesn't plan on hurting someone. Lizzie, are you planning on doing something to her? No, I said I wouldn't. Well, good. After that, the subject never came up again. I wasn't sure how he felt about the situation had been resolved, but at least no one had been harmed. From that point on, Lizzie seemed sweet and devoted at all times. Spent the rest of the year trying to avoid being paired with any girls just to be safe. And then they're at the festival, or fair. The fairground started to get more crowded. Lizzie decided they should try one of the attractions. She dragged him into the House of Mirrors, which struck him as a strange choice. With mirrors of every shape and size, the experience was a little disorienting. As far as he could tell, it was just a simple maze. As he got deeper, though, it started being more mirrors that initially twisted his shape into a sort of version of himself. Strange, but not overwhelming. In that moment, he realized Lizzie was no longer with him. He felt composed. Oh, his first response was actually a moment of panic. She had gotten lost, the fact that she is much more capable of taking care of herself than he was. Lizzie? How the hell she disappeared like that? All kinds of different pathways were reflected in the maze. He was sure he would have seen her leave. It was almost as if she just stepped in one of the mirrors and vanished. It was actually starting to make him uncomfortable. John? Lizzie, where'd you go? This way, come find me. John stumbled through the house of mirrors, following her giggles. Where the heck was she? Had she gone outside the maze somehow? Given how she was, he should have been more nervous. Yet he found that he was calm. Her laughter was playful, and cries are vicious. Yoink! Without warning, Lizzie somehow popped up behind him and tugged him backward. Though what he had, through what he thought was a normal wall, the door swung closed behind him. A secret door. He realized that he was inside a mirror room with no other exit. House of mirrors was apparently more complex than he had thought. If it had even room. This place neat. I found another secret passage too. Wow, that didn't take you long. She had grabbed him from behind and wouldn't let go. So he became increasingly cautious of how she was pressing his back. God, she was so soft. But I'm so happy you came here with me, Lizzie. I know being with me can be hard on you. And you never gave up on me. I want to do something for you. Is that okay? It's going to be a normal girlfriend for a little while, okay? I promise you. Oh, God. He leaned back against the mirrors, needing a moment to catch his breath. He liked that idea, but for now he felt too relaxed. Lizzie took his hand and led him out of the maze effortlessly. This at the first seemed far too loud and bright. It took him a second to even notice that someone was snickering at him. Are you fucking serious? You two came here to play around in the house of mirrors? One of his classmates was there with his girlfriend, pawing at his chest while she giggled and swatted at his hands. They both leered at John and Lizzie holding hands. And what are you, 12? Come on, stitches, losers. His classmate's girlfriend led them away, and John didn't really care about them either. He gave Lizzie a smile, but she seemed slightly distant. And that encounter bothered her more than him. He hoped that she wasn't getting any dangerous urges again, yet Lizzie didn't say anything, instead letting him take her toward one of the food lines. But after they had been in line for only a short while, she slid closer to him and spoke softly. John, if you don't want me to kill, do you not want others to kill either? What are you talking about? If I knew about something and I could stop it, do you want me to? I mean, yeah, of course. Lizzie, is something wrong? Then we have to go. She gripped his hand tightly and dragged him out of the line. There was a strange look in her eyes as she took him across the fairgrounds, occasionally stopping to look for something and shaking her head. He decided to trust her, and trust that she would explain eventually. They headed to the edge of the fairground, where there were some basic warehouses. Stay here. He took off his hand and moved into an alley between the two of them. But John wasn't going to be left alone. He followed her and froze. His classmate lay sprawled on the ground, his chest torn open. His head made John sick, but before he looked away to vomit, he saw that his classmate's pants were down around his ankles. The laugh made him look up toward the grisly scene again and spotted his classmate's girlfriend, stood over the body with a box cutter, completely covered in blood. Mine now, all mine. That morning the girl turned to them, eyes burning. You can't have them. She let out another low laugh as her gaze focused on Lizzie. It's mine, 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 mine. I don't want him. mine forever. The girl lunged at them, moving in jerky, erratic footsteps as so closed the gap between them in a flash. And while John was flinching, Lizzie reacted. In a single smooth moment, she knocked away the box cutter and spun the girl to the ground, ending up with a knee dug into her back. The other girl thrashed and wailed. Lizzie gripped her hair and pulled her head up into a submissive hold. Be quiet. Kill you, slut. You bitch. I'll tear you apart and bathe in your entrails and... Lizzie slit the girl's throat. Oh, good. John could only stare, utterly in shock as the girl bled out. And instantly... the intensity slowly leaving her eyes. Lizzie stood up. Lizzie looked at him sadly. Sorry, John. She could have been a threat to you. What's going on? Was she, like me? No, not really. As she spoke, Lizzie calmly got to her feet. Careful not to get blood on her, she examined her knife, then took out a cloth to wipe it carefully. She was broken, even more broken than I was before I found you. There weren't, people on war, are there? She was the only other one I know of. We don't exactly talk. Oh god, oh god. What happened had caught him in such a rush that he found himself hyperventilating, stumbling back against the side of the warehouse. When he could panic too much, Lizzie slipped in front of him and kissed him gently. Oh, please don't run away. We need to leave before they are found. Just run away? Can we do that? We can. It's our only hope. The logistics of it dazed him. He wasn't even sure exactly what he was agreeing to. He couldn't think... he can't think with two corpses laying so close by. After seeing Lizzie murder someone so coldly. No, he couldn't do it. I shuddered and took a step away from her. I can't. Please don't be afraid. She slit her throat. I didn't even feel anything. Afraid, John. She doesn't feel. Before he could protest, she slipped a foul-smelling rag over his mouth. He struggled uselessly until his world fell away. By the time we woke up, they were far from the fairground. Lizzie had already gathered most of the things they owned and taken them out of the city. He didn't know where she had gotten the car. Didn't know what their plans were. Didn't do anything but rock back and forth and try to breathe. When they stopped, Lizzie came to the back seat and kissed him gently before snuggling up against him. He shivered, but he held her close. In the years ahead, they moved into a new town. He relied entirely on Lizzie as she gave him a new identity, found him a job, and something else I didn't read, and played the sport of housewife. Sometimes he thought about running or disobeying her. Whatever he did, his mind flashed back to the image of Lizzie calmly slitting the other girl's throat. As he had become more and more withdrawn, he thought he saw sadness in Lizzie's eyes, but he didn't care. Every night they slept on the same bed, sometimes being gross, and sometimes Lizzie just whispering into his ear. His world grew more and more gray until there was nothing left. Game over. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Can I read? Yay! You gotta cheer up. They shouldn't say those things about you. I didn't like that tree either. She has nice handwriting. Come on, John. I don't feel like murdering anyone today. This is John forever. And got herself a tree. What used to be a tree. Lizzie being ever so lovely. Us being ever so dead. Lizzie being ever so dead. Looking dead in the eye. Everybody else being ever so dead. Us being dead on the inside. Us both being dead on the inside. Same. Also same. And same once more. Sleepy Time Junction. And the best. that was Crimson Gray. I really like this game. There's a sequel that came out, and I'm gonna see if I can get it soon. And then we can have even more Lizzie in our lives. Oh, this is so short. Oh well, sorry about that. But thank you very much for watching. Gotta love Lizzie. And hopefully I will see you next time for more romance.